Episode 2 of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest came out, and this was honestly another very solid episode, giving us more setup for the inevitable conflict for this arc, as well as sowing seeds for future stuff within the story, and giving us more outside of the main group of Fairy Tail, and going off to different areas, seeing what's going on with the building mystery of Toka, as well as reintroducing Jalal and some other characters. Not really any action outside of maybe like one moment, but again, this was more so setup. So I'm excited for when the following episode comes out, we'll be getting some more character interactions and actual action set pieces as the matchups for this arc begin to be set up. Before we start things off, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and ensures you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. We're in for a treat with 100 Years Quest, as the future events are going to happen in this arc and not the entire season is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to talk about it with the rest of you guys even more. So, let's jump right into things. So, the episode essentially starts off with Natsu and the gang entering a hotel in the town of Vermina, where they run into a fish that turns into a human. And after everyone goes into their rooms after some wacky shenanigans, and drink a mysterious and kind of ominous looking potion left in their rooms, Gray wakes up and notices that the entire town is underwater, and now he can speak and breathe underwater. And he notices that the rest of the crew is just having fun swimming in this underwater city and interacting with the residents. Some pretty fun moments. Lucy tells Wendy some ancient story, and Wendy's afraid that she gets turned into a jellyfish. Pretty funny joke and all that. But Gray ends up mentioning that they're looking for the water dragon god, which then instantly sets off the manager of the hotel, and the entire town turns against them and tries to just capture them right off the bat. Erza tells everyone not to fight back as it's just residents, and so they try and swim away. Not without Lucy getting her top stolen, but what else is new in Fairy Tail? This stuff always happens to Lucy. But we cut to some time later. We end up seeing that the main group managed to hide away and are discussing what they're doing next, because they don't really know 100% if the Water Dragon God is good, what it truly means to seal away the Dragon Gods, whether it be to actually defeat them, slay them, or just seal away their power, or convince them to change their ways or whatever. So there's still stuff up in the air as to whether or not the dragon is friend or foe, and so they have to try and collect information on the Water Dragon God. And so Lucy uses Gemini's powers to essentially turn everybody into fish in order to hide amongst the populace and gather information. Also a really funny scene, I like that Lucy uses Natsu's scarf to cover up, and then Natsu tries to take it back. Pretty funny thing going off on the side until she remembers that she has these star dresses, so she goes into her Aquarius form. But as this is going on, we then cut into Fairy Tail, where Gajia, Lily, and Juvia are kind of spying on Toka and trying to find some information on her, as Toka starts to interact with these Strauss siblings, even making pretty good friends with them, as well as some pretty funny moments, as they then notice a tail that appears and then disappears. And so the plot thickens, as Gajia says, so they want to try and gather even more information on Toka to try and see what's really up with her. And I said this last episode, I really, really want to see more of just Gajia and Lily trying and sometimes failing to be detectives. Again, this is like a golden spin-off idea that I feel like Mashima should capitalize. It introduces such a fun concept that it literally needs to be explored more. Yeah, the mystery of Toka begins to build a bit more, as there seems to be even more up with her, with Gajia's group trying to investigate them. But instead we cut to Sabretooth of all places, as we meet up with Yukino and Sorno as Jalal makes his way to the guild, as they catch up with a nice conversation, with Sorno being a very doting older sister to Yukino, basically talking up her sister, considering that they've been apart for over a decade. It's then that Sting and Rogue show up and welcome Jalal. And it's then that Jalal actually asks them about a specific girl that he's looking into, and it's revealed that this is Toka. He doesn't know what's up with her, but he tells Sabretooth and warns them, if they see her, not to engage. There's still a lot he doesn't know, but chances are she's incredibly dangerous. And so, if Jalal is incredibly wary of somebody and wants people to be cautious, then yeah, something is definitely up with this character, and we're going to be getting more answers into that as well. It is honestly a really good way to introduce Jalal into the main plot of the story, as he tends to be someone who tries to look into these type of things on his own. In fact, he's going to other guilds to look up for information, it shows that he's willing to find his different connections and friends to discover what he needs to discover. Another spin-off idea that I really hope Mashima ends up doing at some point is a crime sorcerer spin-off or one-shot showcasing within the 7-year gap of Jalal, Ultir, and Merity just going around and taking out dark guilds as kind of like anti-heroes, vigilantes during that 7-year gap. I feel like that would be a really fun idea for a spin-off. But after all this is going on, we cut back to Natsu's group as they collectively go across the town to try and collect information on the water dragon god, with Ray running into the manager, successfully fooling them despite their kind of stupid designs where they're basically human heads seemingly on fishes. So it's kind of funny. I also feel bad for Wendy. She's the only one that got turned into a jellyfish. But it's then when Natsu ends up picking something up, with Lucy and Happy following him. They then see a woman chained up in a cage in a specific area. It's then the woman wakes up and notices that they are humans in disguise and tells them to go away for now. As in a giant sea serpent type dragon monster appears, and as it does, the woman then breaks off her restraints, cuts open the cage, and then begins to fight this thing as it's thought to be the water dragon god. And in this instance, she uses a Dragon Slayer secret art to attack and cut up the presumed dragon god. Which shocks Natsu as it is revealed that she in fact is another Dragon Slayer. Which is a big thing. We already have 7 Dragon Slayers right now from 1st through 3rd generations. And then we get 4th generation in the Dragon Cry movie, which are just like automatons basically. But now we're introduced to another Dragon Slayer in this brand new continent, and she is the Blade Dragon known as KIRIA. And it's then after killing this pseudo Water Dragon God wannabe that it's revealed that it's not the Water Dragon God after she attempts to eat the corpse. KIRIA then gives up a breakdown of all the different generations of Dragon Slayers, 1st through 4th. I made an entire video on Dragon Slayers if you want to know more. But essentially she is what's considered a 5th generation Dragon Slayer, as they have gained their powers by eating dragon meat, making them dragon eaters. And so she also reveals that not only is she looking for the Water Dragon God herself to eat the Dragon God and potentially get its power, but that her whole guild, known as Diablos, is entirely made up of dragon eaters, of 5th generation Dragon Slayers, which already opens up the door wide enough for us to see an entire guild of Dragon Slayers. And Dragon Slayers are pretty powerful characters in this series, pretty powerful abilities. So it's very cool to not only get this big bombshell, but to have the door open for more possible Dragon Slayers with differing abilities. She then tries to fight Natsu and then Lucy, and after Natsu for some reason can use his flames in the water, Lucy tries to fight back with her Aquarius powers, but KIRIA slices through it, as since she's the Blade Dragon, there's basically nothing that she can't cut, including Lucy's star dress. So, more Lucy wardrobe malfunctions. And so, after this, she just uses her Virgo form and then just makes it a swimsuit edition, which, honestly, pretty cool design either way. I do kind of like it. But as KIRIA charges up her energy blades to try and stab Lucy, she is then instantly frozen by Gray, who pops up to save the day and see what's going on. It's then that Wendy shows up, and then we notice that what KIRIA killed was a messenger of the Dragon God, and since it's been killed, the Dragon God will essentially show up in a very angered state. And despite her being frozen, KIRIA hears this and then breaks out of the ice, saying that, okay, killing this thing wasn't a waste of time if the Dragon God's just gonna come up on a silver platter for me. And as she appears and is ready to fight, Erza comes swimming down with her sword to try and fight KIRIA, which excites her immensely as Erza is a swordsman, she's the Blade Dragon. This seems like a match made in heaven. But right as Erza is about to swing her sword, someone comes charging in from the top of the water, coming into the ground and blocking her sword with his head, as we get introduced to another 5th generation Dragon Slayer, Mad Mole, the Armored Dragon. And as the name suggests, his skin is as hard as any armor, so he was able to block Erza's sword. KIRIA states that she didn't really need help from Mad Mole, but Mad Mole states that someone named Scullion states that they have other business to attend to, and so that they're gonna need to leave. But as this happens, the water then begins to part, and someone descends from the heavens, as we then get to see the Water Dragon God appear in front of everybody in the main group, ending the episode. Now overall, this episode was actually pretty well paced in my opinion, nothing too fast, nothing too short. we cut back between the different plot points of this arc, with the side and main plot points, and things are building up to each other, the mystery of Toka, and now we're getting introduced to the water dragon god in a proper manner. His entrance, honestly, pretty clean. I really liked it. Very befitting of someone by the name of the water god dragon, essentially. And I liked the introduction of Diablos in this section of the story when I read in the manga, and I think in the anime did not disappoint. The action was really just 2 or 3 quick clashes and nothing too spectacular. And KIRIA's Dragon Slayer Secret Arc was definitely a still shot, essentially, but it works for the moment, and I'm not really too upset by it. It would have been nice to get a few frames of animation for that, but I know for a fact that these stuff is being saved for like actual fights. These are just initial clashes, so when the actual fight starts, we are going to see more of actual combat animation for this section of the story. But yeah, this episode had some pretty good gags, some really nice character moments, lore building, and just building up the mysteries for what's going to happen with the future of this arc. And I'm very excited to see how the rest of this season is going to pan out, especially with this arc, because there's a lot to look forward to for Frontier's Quest that I'm excited to finally see animated. But that's really it for me. Not too much for me to really deep dive into without accidentally going into spoilers, and I do want to keep this anime friendly. So, what did you guys think of this episode? How do you feel about the content we saw? How do you feel about the addition of new Dragon Slayers and KIRIA and Mad Mole? And how do you feel about the mystery going on with Toka and Jalal and Gajul's honest investigations into her without even realizing that they're both investigating her at the same time? And what was your favorite part of this episode? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Sundays are already stacked enough as it is with all the anime coming out. Fairy Tail is just a really great way to start my day.